Welcome to another Telltale Books video. I'm Greg, and I'm going to continue my Stephen King series with more from Skeleton Crew. We are Telltale Books, bringing you the best in literature, literary topics, and graphic design and bookmaking.
If you want to support us, you can find us on Etsy and Pango, where you can find gently used, rare, and even top quality used books.
And if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and maybe even that bell to be notified when new videos go live.
Thanks for joining us.
The way I'm doing this is I'm actually buddy reading the whole book in May of 2025 with my good friend Samantha. We're doing one story a week. And I'm shooting the videos, and I'm just going to sit on them until I reach the point, because the stories range from the early 70s. There are a couple of them I've actually already covered before we started reading this book. One of those is Here There Be Tigers, which is from 1968. That's in Skeleton Crew, and I've already read and done a video on that one. But the rest, I'm shooting these videos, and I'm just going to sit on them until I reach them in the order of publication. Because by order of publication, I've just wrapped up all the stories from Night Shift, which you see right there. I've just wrapped that up, and I've read Rage, and so now I'm moving on to short stories that are, some of them are not in Skeleton Crew, like Night of the Tiger is not in any of Stephen King's short story collections. I had to get the actual magazine of fantasy and science fiction where it appeared in order to read it. But the other stories in here range from 1978 through 1985, when this book was published. 85 or 84? 85. So there's already a bunch of these videos that I've put up. I think the first one that went up was Nona, after reading through this. And now I'm up to The Mist, which is number 59 in the Stephen King bibliography. It's actually the very first story in the book Skeleton Crew. And some sources call it a novella, other sources actually call it a novel, and it has been published on its own. And it was the finalist in the novel category for the 1981 World Fantasy Award. It didn't win, but it was a finalist. It was originally published in Dark Forces, which is an anthology, and I have a copy of that, just not handy. It's around here somewhere. It was published in Dark Forces in August of 1980, and of course included in Skeleton Crew, and very famously made into a movie, a motion picture, which I love. And the motion picture is pretty close to the original story. There's some ways in which it differs, but mostly very minor, except for maybe the ending. And then it was made into this TV series, which I really didn't like, because it went off into the religion aspect too much and completely left behind the whole idea of the alternate dimension that the military tapped into. So I didn't care for the TV series. I liked the movie. And what is The Mist about? In case you don't know. A freak storm comes through this town, probably somewhere in Maine. It causes a lot of destruction. It starts with this mist rolling in. And David, his son Billy, and his neighbor Norton head to town, leaving his wife behind at the house. Head into town to get some groceries. as this weird fog bank is moving in over everything after all the destruction of the storm, and trees down everywhere and power out. This weird fog bank is coming in. So they go to get some groceries. And while they're in the store, the mist reaches the store, and monsters are coming out of the mist. People are running out of the mist up to the windows of the store yelling for help, and then you see them just suddenly dragged away. And then these insect-like creatures start flying at and hitting the windows, and anybody that walks outside of the store, that goes out the doors, they don't come back. Most of the story focuses on the characters and what they're going through as they're trapped in this grocery store. That's the bulk of the story. And they're trying to come to grips with what's going on, trying to figure it out, trying to figure out how they're going to survive, trying to figure out what the rules are with these creatures, how to beat them, how maybe they can get home despite the creatures, how maybe they can get out of the store to the people they've left at their houses, all of whom at this point are pretty much dead. But they don't know that for sure, and they want to try and get back and find out. But you go out the door and you don't come back. Now the story is kind of like a standard story, standard monster story, people trapped. And there's things outside trying to get in. The Last Man on Earth, like with Vincent Price, is a story like that. So it's actually kind of a horror trope, really. And it even reminds me of this one Twilight Zone episode where you have a group of neighbors all at this one guy's house for a house party, 1960s, and they're all sitting around, and then it comes over the radio that there is a foreign attack going on and there'll be nuclear missiles coming down. Well, the guy that owns the house that they're at the party with, he happens to have a fallout shelter. He built a bomb shelter in his yard. And so everybody kind of flips out. They want in. They think he should let them in and let them live and stuff like that. And it all just kind of devolves into people fighting. You know, these people that were good, friendly neighbors just start completely at each other. And that's kind of how this story goes, where you get the different factions of people that go down these different alleys. This one woman, you know, says it's everybody being punished for their sins and stuff like that. So, you know, the way people react in King's story just reminded me a lot of the dynamics that went on in this Twilight Zone story. And just like the Twilight Zone story wasn't really about the attack going on outside. It was about the human dynamics of the people inside this house. And King's story isn't really about all the wild things that are happening outside the grocery store. It's about the character dynamics inside the grocery store, which is an interesting story. But of course, I want to know more about these monsters. I want to know about this other dimension. I think that part's cool. That part is just mind-blowing. All the different creatures he comes up with, and very cool. Especially if you saw the movie. The movie realizes all the monsters just beautifully. Throughout the whole thing, it's hinted that the whole issue got started by some kind of experiment at a military base, and they did something that caused something that led in all these monsters from some other dimension over into our world. Opened up kind of rift or a gateway between two worlds, and the monsters are just coming in because the monsters are not intelligent, they're mindless, they're like dinosaurs, you know, they're just eating machines. Trying to think of how to do this without spoiling it. The ending. I'm not one of those people that doesn't like Stephen King endings. I think his endings, while they're not positive endings, much of the time they make total sense in the story that he's telling. And so I generally like the endings of his stories. I like the ending of The Mist. I gotta say, I like the ending of the movie better. It was much, much more powerful, much, much more mind-blowing. Much more dramatic. But that's all I'm going to say about that. I really love this story. I hold back from calling it a top tale simply because of the fact that he chooses to, you know, and this is a personal thing, he chooses to focus on the dynamics of the people. And for me, I'm less interested in that than I am in all those cool monsters outside. I want more of the monsters. I want to know more about them. I want somebody to go over into their world and see what it's like over there. I want a section of the story that goes into the other world and starts looking at things. Because that's the really cool, mind-blowing part of this story. And I feel King held back on that. He did it for good reasons, but for me, I want to go there. And for that reason, and that reason alone, this story didn't quite make it. But it is a really, really great story, awesome story, classic Stephen King. This is one, if you like King even a little, you should read The Mist. It's awesome. It's one of his best. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Go read it. Go read it. And if you have read it, leave your comments in the comments section of the video. And come on back. I got a lot more Stephen King to go. This is only 1980 that we're up to. Yeah, August of 1980 is all the farther I am now. Number 59. Yeah, but there's a lot more to come. And I hope you'll join me for all that and all the other things we do here in Telltale Books. And till then,